Hey folks, Nick here from Another BookTube channel, and today I'll be reviewing Stinger by Robert McCammon. Before I get into this, I'll be upfront that this entire review is going to be colored by the fact that I've been in like a bit of a reading slump lately. Just haven't honestly have not been in the mood to read. For context, I'm filming this on May 14th. And this is only my second finished book of the month. Usually I'm at around at least three, usually four by the middle of the month. Um, so like this book took me about 2 weeks to read almost, and it should not have. Just haven't really been in the mood. Mostly just like read it when I could find a little bit of attention span for it, but mine was wandering a lot. So for that reason, I didn't enjoy this book nearly as much as I would have had I been in the mood for it. So that'll just be my little caveat to this review. Stinger is about a small town in Texas on the border. Called Inferno, and it is a dying town. People are leaving. The only school is closing soon, so it's already kind of like on its way out. And then things get a lot worse when a visitor from outer space comes and causes a whole bunch of problems, and a lot of people die, and a lot of people need to band together to try to survive this this alien scum. Um, there's a lot more to it. There's a bit more nuance to it than that. Uh, but I think the first thing that made me kind of tune out of this book a little bit was I was not in the mood for an alien book. I like aliens. I like sci-fi aliens. But I picked this up kind of assuming that it was just going to be a monster book. I saw this big hand coming out of the desert ground that I was thinking like Tremors, just like something that lives underground that is coming out. So when it turned out to be aliens, I was just like, oh, I'm really not in an aliens mood, but I don't want to just like put this down. I'm going to pick up something else. So I pushed through it. And again, if I were in an alien mood, I probably would have loved this book. Really, this is a very well-written book. Robert McCammon continues to impress me. I think he is fantastic at writing three-dimensional characters. For instance, there's a lot of human drama in this. One of the biggest major human conflicts is that, like I mentioned, this is taking place on the border in Texas. So a lot of antagonistic white people who hate Mexicans, and vice versa. So there's teenage gangs. There's a white gang and a Mexican gang called the Rattlers and the Renegades. Or the Renegades is the white gang, and the Rattlers is the Mexican gang. And they are constantly fighting each other. There's turf wars all the time. Never to the point of like killing each other, but they put each other in the hospital pretty badly. And one of the best parts of this book is seeing how McCammon gets the characters from both of those sides to kind of put aside their differences to fight the common enemy. Kind of like it's the Watchmen plot. It's Alan Moore's Watchmen. Is the way to unite people, to make them stop fighting, is to actually just make them fight something else together. And it's a definitely an idealistic idea. It always is, even in Watchmen. I like the way that McCammon executes it here as well. I don't know that it's realistic, but I like the idealism of it. I think it's really strong. There's also there's so many characters that populate the town that McCammon gives a lot of time to to really flesh them out. There's like the woman who was married to the town's like founder or the descendant of the founder, who died and left her with a ton of debt. So she's got, she's used to this life of luxury, but now she's taken down a peg, but she still turns her nose up at the other people. There's a father and son dynamic, which starts off very contentious. The father is a drunk, at the very least, emotionally abusive to the son, and him in this crisis finding a way to make amends in some capacity and find some character growth. There's a lot of nice character work in there, and the monster stuff is great. When I was able to ignore the fact that it was an alien and it was just monster stuff happening, I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is gruesome and like gross, and just solid monster work. And then it would be like, and then they could talk about the spaceship, and I'm like, oh, I don't care about the spaceship. So like that stuff, like I said, I just wasn't in the mood for it. It took me out of it. One thing also that made me laugh is I think Robert McCammon has never smoked marijuana in his life or gotten high, because there was this frequent references to like those gangs I was talking about going into marijuana fueled like rages and attacking each other. And like, I don't know, maybe my experience is different, but I couldn't imagine raging in any capacity while high on marijuana. I think it's more of a want to sit down and sleep and just relax kind of thing. Maybe a different drug will get you that rage that he's thinking of. But it was 1988, I think this was written. So different time, different mentality about the drug. But that just made me laugh whenever he would mention like crazed on marijuana. Like, are you sure about that? And what else? Yeah, I mean, look, it's a really good book. And again, any other mood that I was in, I would have loved it. But it took me forever to get through. Wasn't into the aliens. Just was in a slump in general. So I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even film a review like this and be judging a book when I wasn't in the headspace for it. But I did like it. I wanted to talk about it a little bit with you. My arbitrary and subjective grade for Stinger is going to be, I'm going to make it 7 out of 10. And for the first time ever, I'll explain why. Because I think if I were in the right mood, this book would have been an 8 out of 10. As it stands now, the way that I read it, it was more of a 6 out of 10. And so I'm just going to split that difference. So do with that what you will. If you've read Stinger, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today. But now it's time to get back to reading.